Shalom. All praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakodash. A double honors to the elder apostles, the bishops, and the elders of GMS who ruled well. Peace and salutations to the elect. My name is Aina. The title of the video is Global News Highlights. Right? Pretty much I go into the artificial intelligence app, right? And I ask it, world news, worldwide in the past 24 hours or recent news, whatever I can ask it to get it, to get the correct information out of it. I use the DeepSeek artificial intelligence app, which is a Chinese-based app, um, and just going to the news, right, to warn the people, right? First and foremost, the Israelites, the elect of the Israelites, of the things to come, right? And also 1 2/3 of their impending destruction and doom, right? When the scriptures talk about, let me grab some of that. I know I got a scripture wrote down here, one I'm thinking about. I can't think about it off the top. If I can find it. All right, here we go. I found it. All right, so Sirach 39. Which is Ecclesiasticus chapter 39 and 28. Right. Okay. So it says, there be spirit that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. Fire and hell and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance. Take the wild beasts and scorpions, serpents, and the sword punishing the wicked to destruction. Right. So the things that are coming upon planet Earth, according to the scriptures, are, judgments. Scriptures talk about them not being mindful of the judgments. This second Ezra, I believe it's sitting at 15 or 16. Let me see here. Yeah. So this is second Ezra 16 and verse 17. It says, woe is me, woe is me. Who would deliver me in those days? Right. We're in those days now. Right. And that's the things that I'm reading about what's happening in the last days. Right. It says the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand in fear. The beginning of evils, what shall I do when these evils shall come? Right? So pretty much the things that I'm about to read to you, these are the evils that the Lord Yahweh Bashem was talking about. The beginning of sorrows. It says, behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for a minute, but for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. Right? That's why I actually had a precept I was going to start with, which I'll get it soon, because you're not mindful of the thing that's happening. Right. So I'm talking to the 2/3. I'm talking to the elect. I'm also talking to the nations, letting them know also that their world is at an end. Let's grab second Ezra. Right. Second Ezra 9, verse 1. It says, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it's the very same time wherein the highest begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. It says, for like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end, the end is manifest. Right. So the current rulership, the age, right, of Esau's rulership is over. Right. The Most High is bringing the judgments. It says, Even so, the times also the highest have plain beginnings and wonder and powerful work and endings and effects and signs. And everyone that shall be saved shall be able, and everyone that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works and by faith whereby ye have believed shall be preserved from the said perils and see my salvation in my land and within my borders, for I have sanctified them for me from the beginning. Right. So that goes into elect, right? The ones that are sanctified to him from the beginning. Right. So let me grab this precept, Matthew 16, verse 1 NLT. It says, one day the Pharisees and Sadducees came to test Yahushua, demanding that he show them a miraculous sign from heaven to prove his authority. He replied, you know the saying, red sky at night means fair weather tomorrow. Red sky in the morning means foul weather all day. You know how to interpret the weather signs in the sky, but you don't know how to interpret the signs of the time. Only an evil, adulterous generation would demand a miraculous sign. But the only sign I will give them is the sign of the prophet Jonah. Then Yahushua left them and went away. Right? This is true. You know, people want some type of sign. They want some type of miracle. They want, you know, just something, you know, to prove something. You know, at one point in my life, in my walk, you know, my brother, he came to me and said, you doing this Israelite thing, but I don't, he basically said he don't see the profit from it. You know, he don't see the fruits of it. He said, you know, why are you doing it? Nothing is different. You know, God hasn't helped you or anything like that. You know, so people, you know, they look for something to, you know, just, I guess, justify it or want to switch over or they think something is supposed to happen, you know, when it's all faith, right? And the reward will come, you know, which I explained to him, but you can see the mindset of people, you know. I don't know if he eventually wake up to the truth. Yeah, that's for the Lord to know, you know. But anyway, so going into this deep sea, what I asked it these questions. So I asked it top recent news worldwide. It gave me 5.1 geopolitics and confidence. Trump Putin Alaska summit. The U.S. and Russia will hold a historic meeting in Alaska on August 15th to discuss Ukraine. Tariffs and global trade amid escalating tensions over Trump's threat of 100% tariffs on Russian oil buyers. So as you can see, you know, wars, rumors of wars, trade wars, they're upset and they're fighting each other. Trump doesn't want people to buy Russian oil. Gaza crisis. Israel approved a plan to militarily occupy Gaza City, sparking international backlash. Germany halted weapon shipments to Israel while Egypt and Qatar drafted a hostage exchange proposal. So this is very interesting. It says Germany halted, you know, weapon shipments. So people are mad about this thing that's happened in the Middle East, and it's seeming like the Middle East or Israel actually need a lot of help from America, right? Because people are turning against it. That's pursuant to the scriptures that the least the flock will draw out America to this war. It says Thai-Cambodia border clashes. A ceasefire holds after 5 days of fighting. The 30 plus dead with Malaysia mediating talks. Right, so we have wars and rumors of wars, right? The beginning of sorrows. So point 2 says U.S. and global policy. Trump's trade wars. The U.S. imposed 50% tariffs on Indian imports, over Russian oil purchases, while preparing a $30 billion IPO for mortgage giants Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. All right, so I was gonna look this up and I forgot, so I'll look it up right now. Let's do a 30 billion IPO. All right, let's see. All right, I'm gonna ask you, what is IPO? Just bear with me. You know, Esau don't want nothing to come out, no truth to come out, right? And ultimately, he's gonna cut the whole system to the internet, allowing you to easily access it, right? So it's still loading. So an IPO, or initial public offering, is the process where a private company sells its shares to the public for the first time. This transitions from private to public ownership is often referred to as going public. So I believe that's what it's talking about, an IPO. So back to the deep sea. All right, so yeah, so Trump is doing that, and it's caused a lot of people to get upset. I don't really understand, exactly how is it going, but I know money is being moved, right? I watched a video the other day where someone was complaining about the fact that they had 50 billion. I believe they were sending it towards ICE or something like that, and a guy was complaining that there's money in America, but then you have things that are bad about America. So when the government does things like this regarding money and it's not for the people, they have a reason to uproar, just like the scriptures say, they are uproaring. So anyway, Harvard patent threat. The Trump administration may seize Harvard's patent unless it proves compliance with U.S. manufacturing rules by September 5th. So as you can see, pretty much everyone is against each other. Trump has come into office, this cruel lord, taking away all these different government, positions and government help, attacking schools, attacking pretty much everything. Every aspect of America is being attacked right now. Even now, you can't speak about Israel, but you can speak about America, and that's coming, from, your president. Pretty much, he didn't say that exactly, but there's heavy, talk about not speaking about Israel. I remember when they was doing the thing with the taking a knee, for the flag, during football and games and things like that. And now it's like, don't talk about Israel. So anyway, it says France recognizes Palestine. Macron's announcement drew Israeli condemnation, signaling a shift in UE diplomacy. Right, so they're completely divided. A kingdom divided against itself shall not stand. Right, cannot stand. And these are NATO, individuals tied to America, and they're divided. This goes to the point that these NATO individuals, pursuant to Revelation 17, right, are going to switch around and shoot fire on Babylon the Great. Because now you have France recognizing Palestine as a state. And then at the same time, you have Israel, the Israelis trying to go in there and occupy it. So that's a problem. So point 3 says disasters and incidents. So we have Nagasaki 80th A-bomb anniversary. Survivors push for nuclear disarmament during memorial ceremonies, right? So they had a memorial for when America dropped the bombs on Japan, and those survivors were saying, we should disarm the nukes. But the nuclear missiles will be used here in the last days for World War III. You have Revelations 11 and 14, right? Isaiah 9 and 5, Isaiah 54 and 16. Joel chapter 2. Times Square shooting. 3 wounded in a pre-dawn shooting. A 17-year-old suspect was arrested. Right? That goes into what I was actually trying to search for. That Ecclesiasticus chapter 39, verse 28. Spirits created for vengeance, right? It says wildfires and floods, deadly fires hit Turkey, while flash floods killed 10 plus in China's province, one of China's provinces. We have tempest and storm. The Lord is visiting a place with tempest and storm. It's increasing. The Most High Yahweh Yahushua said he wished the world was already burning. He wished it was already on fire, and that's exactly what's happening. So we have these different disasters and incidents. That was point 3. It said disasters and incidents. So now we're at point 4, science and society. It says renewable overtake coal. So that renewables overtake coal. So they're trying to situate from coal and try to go healthy and all of this stuff. So it says the IEA predicts renewables will become the top global power source by 2026, driven by solar wind growth. And really, a lot of these things, I don't know. They're moving very quickly. And now You know, so we'll see. They don't have time though. You know, at this point, they're just saying stuff. 2026, we'll have this or have that, and they're about to go to war, right? And it's proven because even with the war right now in Ukraine and Russia, Trump is saying that Putin is losing more troops than Ukraine. And really what's being said even by top generals, past military individuals, that Ukraine is losing like 20,000 soldiers a day or something, or however they said it. You know, it's a crazy number. While Putin is not losing anything, you know, well, he's losing some, but it's not a lot. You know, some losses is still bad, but compared to Ukraine, Ukraine's almost done, and that's all that's happened. You know, and it's just them boasting and saying stuff for no reason. Like, oh yeah, Ukraine winning the war. Like, what the fuck are you saying? What does it even matter, right? If it's not the truth, you know. So it says meteor older than Earth, a Georgia meteorite, was dated to 4.56 billion years, predating Earth's formation. All right, they haven't showed it to us. We don't see it. It's not in museums or anything like that. You know, they just be saying stuff. You know, hey, let me grab that. They so many lies they've been saying their whole life. This is Psalm 58:3. It says the wicked are estranged from the womb; they go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. That's the people that run the world right now. The wicked, the ones who lied to us about, you know, the dark time, the Byzantine Empire, the Dark Ages. You know who the true Israelites are. You know what is your food really healthy or not? Can you actually power a vehicle without gasoline? Is there a cure for cancer? Right now, you're talking about a meteorite. It says water aid campaign. YouTubers Mr. Beast and Mark Rober launched a 40 million initiative to provide clean water to 2 million people. Right, which you know, it's whatever. This is the scripture I got on that though, because scriptures say when you cease to deal treacherously, they gonna deal treacherously with you. It's Isaiah 33:1. Right, ain't they trying to now they're trying to fix it. You know, the water was poisoned. It's Isaiah 33. You know, the water was poisoned and all of that. Now they're trying to fix it up in these last days. It's too late. It says the judgment of Yahweh, the head section right there, but Isaiah 33:1 says, woe to thee that spoilest, and thou was not spoiled, and dealest treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. When thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled. And when thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee. So you know, Esau, you know, who knows what he's trying to do, trying to, you know, change up his ways, trying to get right, you know, trying to make a new, better America, right? The golden age, trying to fix things up, you know, now that he's losing. And that goes in a broader scale to like with these people, you know, he was trying to do this peace and safety thing and it's all turning on him, right? All the nations are now turning on him, you know. All right, we got point five. All right, point five says notable developments. William Webster dies at 101 years old. The only person to lead both the FBI and CIA passed away. All right, it says Uganda's anti-LGBTQ law challenge. Right, so you know they're having a problem regarding this whole happy people scenario. Right, Uganda's not with it, and people are challenging it. Most likely America. It says Vietnam's visa reforms. Billionaires and professionals now get visa exemptions to boost economic growth, right? Let me see what these visa exemptions are, you know, because we do have this MOTB system being set up regarding entry exit system. So let's see what they're talking about. Visa Egyptian. So I'll ask you, what are visa exemptions? It says visa exemption, also known as a visa waiver, allows citizens of certain countries to enter another country without needing a traditional visa for a specific period and purpose. So the elites are, getting these special privileges where they won't need these maybe the tracking devices or something. Read that again. It says Vietnam's visa reforms. Billionaires and professionals now get visa exemptions to boost economic growth. So it's like, yeah, because you're famous and you're special, we just gonna come here. It's okay. You just pop up. So anyway, that's been the news. Shalom to the elect, which consists of men, women, and children. And matter of fact, let me grab Ephesians. Ephesians 5 and 15, it says, see then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time because the days are evil, right? And the days are evil. So shalom to the elect, which consists of men, women, and children. Shalom.